I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and his messenger. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh.
Dear audience, are you a heart that seeks peace? Then you are in the right place. On this channel, you will witness the inspiring stories of those who have converted to Islam from different religions. Each story is a story of a quest, a transformation, and a spiritual awakening. Join these journeys that warm your heart and raise your soul with the calling voice of the Adhan. Subscribe, because every story is a new beginning, and every beginning is a miracle. Stem cell technology, one of modern science's greatest breakthroughs, offers hope for curing diseases that have long plagued humanity. These microscopic cells, capable of transforming into any cell type in the human body, are hailed as a medical marvel. Yet, behind this scientific miracle lies a deeper truth, one that connects cutting-edge research to ancient wisdom. While the term stem cells doesn't appear in the Quran, its verses vividly describe the stages of human embryonic development in ways that align remarkably with modern embryology and stem cell science. A striking example is found in Surah Al-Mu'minun 23:12-14. We created man from an extract of clay. Then we made him a drop, nutfa, in a secure place. Then we made the drop into a clinging form, alaka, and we made the alaka into a lump, mudda, and we made the lump into bones, and we clothed the bones with flesh. Then we developed him into another creation. So blessed is Allah, the best of creators. Nutfa, the fertilized egg, zygote, corresponding to totipotent stem cells, which can develop into any cell type in the body. Alaka, meaning something that clings, or leech-like. This describes the blastocyst stage, where the embryo attaches to the uterine wall, resembling pluripotent stem cells capable of forming over 200 cell types. Mudga, translated as a chewed piece of flesh, this mirrors the somite stage, where the embryo resembles a chewed mass under a microscope, as stem cells begin differentiating into specific organ tissues. This 1400-year-old description aligns precisely with discoveries only made possible in the last century through modern embryology. This is the story of a scientist who uncovered this miraculous connection.
Dr. Jonathan Jearld's eyes were weary under the blue glow of his microscope. In the Harvard Stem Cell Institute's fourth-floor lab, the hum of high-tech equipment was the only sound breaking the silence of a snowy Boston night. At 42, Jearld was a world-renowned stem cell researcher, his office walls lined with diplomas and awards from Harvard Medical School and Stanford. His publications in Nature, Science, and Cell had earned him global recognition, even whispers of a Nobel Prize nomination. Working late again, John? Dr. Sarah Martinez, his colleague of 10 years, stood at the lab door, her black hair spilling over her white lab coat. Can't those cells wait until morning? Jearld looked up, silver strands at his temples betraying the stress of his relentless work. The cells can wait, Sarah, but Tommy can't. Tommy Richardson, an 8-year-old with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, was fighting for his life. Traditional treatments had failed, and stem cell therapy was his family's last hope. Sarah sat beside him, the lab's sterile air filled with the quiet buzz of machines. John, you've saved countless lives with your pluripotent stem cell research. You're revolutionizing cardiology, but you're burning yourself out. Jearld set down his pipette and turned to her. Sarah, when I look at these cells, I see engineering perfection. Each one can become a heart cell, a neuron, or muscle tissue. How do they know what to become? This can't be random. Who's behind this design? This question had haunted Jearld for months. Despite his 150-plus peer-reviewed papers and a prestigious career, something was missing, a void he couldn't name. "Maybe you're asking the wrong question," Sarah said, uneasy with his philosophical turn. "Instead of who, ask how. Evolution, natural selection." "I know, Sarah, but look at DNA. 4 nucleotides, A, T, G, C, encode everything about us. It's like writing Shakespeare with 4 letters. Is that possible by chance?" Sarah frowned. Jearld's questions were veering into metaphysics, far from the empirical world of science. "John, our job is to analyze data, test hypotheses, not chase metaphysical riddles." Jearld stood and gazed out the lab window at the snow-dusted Charles River. "I've been watching cells dance for 20 years, Sarah. Can a dance this perfect happen without a choreographer?"
3 weeks later, Jearld found himself on a Turkish Airlines flight to Istanbul, seated in business class at 35,000 feet. He was headed to the International Regenerative Medicine Congress to present his groundbreaking research on myocardial regeneration using induced pluripotent stem cells, which had achieved an 87% success rate in repairing damaged heart tissue, a medical revolution. Yet his mind was elsewhere, wrestling with questions of design and purpose. The clouds below, a silken blanket over the earth, only deepened his curiosity about the order behind it all. Next to him sat an elderly Turkish man with white hair and wise eyes, reading a book with Arabic script on the cover. Intrigued, Jearld spoke up. "Excuse me, what are you reading?" "The Quran," the man replied with a warm smile. "I'm Dr. Mehmet Özkan, retired anatomy professor from Ankara University. And you?" "Dr. Jonathan Jearld, Harvard, stem cell researcher." Dr. Özkan's eyes lit up. "Then you'll find this fascinating." He opened the Quran to Surah Al-Mu'minun, 23:12-14, and read aloud, translating the Arabic to English. "We created man from an extract of clay. Then we made him a drop in a secure place. Then we made the drop into a clinging form, and we made the clinging form into a lump, and we made the lump into bones, and we clothed the bones with flesh. Then we developed him into another creation. So blessed is Allah, the best of creators." Jearld's pulse quickened. The description mirrored the embryonic stages he studied daily. "It's astonishing," he murmured. "It matches modern embryology exactly." Dr. Özkan nodded. "Let's break it down. Nutfa is the fertilized egg, totipotent stem cells. Alaka, meaning something that clings or leech, describes the blastocyst stage, where the embryo clings to the uterine wall. Mudga, a chewed piece of flesh, aligns with the somite stage, where stem cells begin forming organs." "How could this be known 1,400 years ago?" Jearld asked, stunned. "There were no microscopes, no embryology." Dr. Özkan's eyes twinkled. "That's the question that led me to Islam 30 years ago. As an anatomy professor, I knew the human body inside out. When I compared it to the Quran, I realized this couldn't be a human text." For the rest of the flight, Jearld's mind raced. As a scientist, he lived by evidence, peer-reviewed studies, controlled experiments. But this encounter planted new questions, challenging his worldview.
The day before the Congress, Jearld wandered Istanbul's historic streets, captivated by the city's blend of East and West. Standing before the Hagia Sophia, he marveled at its 1,500-year-old dome, a feat of engineering that echoed the precision of the stem cells he studied. Humanity's always searching for the design behind things, he thought. Dr. Jearld, a voice called out. It was Dr. Aisha Rahman, an Egyptian geneticist known for her work in CRISPR-Cas9. They'd met at prior conferences, but never spoken at length. Dr. Rahman, exploring Istanbul before the Congress? Perfect choice, Aisha said, adjusting her headscarf. This city's where East meets West, just like science meets faith. Her words struck a chord. Do you believe science and faith can coexist? Jearld asked. Aisha gazed at the Hagia Sophia's dome. As a geneticist, I see flawless design in DNA's 3.2 billion nucleotides, perfectly aligned. Every gene, protein, pathway, it's too harmonious to be chance. Is there a mind behind it? Over Turkish coffee in a nearby Ottoman-era cafe, Aisha pulled up a 3D DNA model on her phone. Watson and Crick discovered the double helix in 1953, but the Quran says, we created everything in pairs, 51-49. Electrons and protons, male and female, even DNA's double strands. Jearld leaned in, recalling his conversation with Dr. Özkan. Nutfa, alaka, mudga, he murmured. Exactly, Aisha's eyes lit up. Those terms don't just describe embryonic stages, they map to stem cell differentiation. Nutfa is totipotent, alaka is pluripotent, mudga is multipotent. How is this possible? Jearld asked, his questions multiplying. That's what led me to Islam, Aisha said. If these were human words, the 7th century knowledge would support them. But this was impossible back then. So what's the source? That evening, strolling along the Bosphorus, Jearld began reading the Quran translation Dr. Özkan had given him. Verses about the universe's expansion, 51-47. Mountains root-like structures, 78-7. And oceans layered barriers, 25-53, stunned him. Modern science's discoveries described 1,400 years ago. At the Istanbul Congress Center, Jearld presented his research to an 800-strong audience. His visuals of damaged heart tissue before and after stem cell treatment, showing an 87% recovery rate, drew gasps. Tommy's protocol was poised to become a standard treatment. How do these cells know what to become? A cardiologist asked during Q&A. Jearld paused. Normally, he'd cite genetic programming or signaling pathways. Instead, he said, "It's a miracle science hasn't fully explained. Stem cell differentiation is like the most complex software system we know." Afterward, Aisha approached with colleagues. "Your work's incredible. How do cells differentiate so precisely?" "It's mind-boggling," Jearld admitted. "It's like they follow a pre-written code, more intricate than any computer program." "Maybe they do," Aisha said with a knowing smile. "Maybe a programmer wrote it." At the Congress dinner, Jearld learned about scientists who'd embraced Islam. Dr. Keith Moore, an embryologist who validated the Quran's descriptions. Dr. Maurice Bucaille, a French surgeon who studied pharaonic mummies. Dr. Geoffrey Lang, a mathematician who found faith through logic. Why do they all reach the same conclusion? Jearld wondered. Back in Boston, Jearld felt transformed. The familiar Harvard campus seemed alien. In the lab, every cell under the microscope posed new questions. Each division, each differentiation screamed perfection. "You seem different, John," Sarah said over coffee. "What happened in Istanbul?" "Maybe everything," Jearld replied. "Sarah, how can cells be so perfect? Mitochondria generate energy, ribosomes synthesize proteins, nuclei store genetic data. It's a factory more efficient than anything we've built." "Evolution," Sarah said. "Millions of years of natural selection." "But look at DNA," Jearld pressed, pointing to a petri dish. 4 bases,
ATGC encode all human traits. It's like coding Shakespeare or Einstein's theories with 4 letters. How do they know their sequence? Sarah sighed. Jearld's questions were no longer purely scientific. We stick to observable data, John. Hypotheses, experiments, peer review. I'm using the scientific method, John, and I'm concluding there's intelligent design behind this system. Walking through Boston Common that evening, the golden autumn leaves reminded him of nature's precision. Even leaf color changes are a perfectly timed chemical process. Can chance create such beauty? In November, tragedy struck. Jearld's mentor, Professor Richard Coleman, died suddenly of a heart attack at 67. Coleman had guided Jearld's career, serving as his PhD advisor and a father figure. At the memorial in Harvard's Memorial Church, Jearld stared at Coleman's flower-draped mahogany coffin. He published 350 papers, mentored 40 PhD students, the speaker said. His legacy will endure. But Jearld's mind churned. Where is Coleman now? His knowledge? His love? Does it all vanish? Is there more? Coleman's widow, Margaret, approached him. Richard always spoke of you as his brightest student, she said. He said science teaches how, but not why. Her words lingered as Jearld returned to his empty Victorian home. At 42, with a $300,000 salary and a tenured Harvard position, he felt unmoored. What's left when I die? My papers? My grants?
The following Friday, Jearld visited the Islamic Society of Cambridge. Nervous, he hesitated at the shoe rack, mimicking others by removing his shoes. Inside, the carpeted prayer hall held 150 worshipers from diverse backgrounds, moving in unison during prayer, ruku, sujud, qiyam, like the coordinated cells he studied. The imam, Dr. Yusuf Hassan, a Harvard-trained pediatric cardiologist, spoke after prayer. Islam's first command is read. Knowledge is worship. Every atom, every cell testifies to the Creator. Jearld met Hassan afterward. I'm a scientist. I believe in evidence. But science explains how, not why. Why is this system so perfect? Hassan smiled. In Islam, science reveals the Creator's artistry. Your stem cell work studies his masterpiece. Jearld dove into Islamic studies, reading Dr. Keith Moore's The Developing Human, which praised the Quran's embryological accuracy. He noticed stem cells dividing in a binary pattern, 2, 4, 8, 16, like a mathematical code predating computers. The Quran's verse, "We created everything in pairs," 51:49, resonated. Electrons and protons, male and female, DNA's double helix, all reflected a binary order. He read Dr. Ahmad Zewail, a Nobel laureate, who said, "Science brings me closer to God." Dr. Maurice Bucaille's The Bible, the Quran, and Science argued the Quran's facts were unknowable in the 7th century. In December, Jearld confided in Dr. Hassan, "I believe in God and the Quran's miracles, but what will people think? My family, colleagues, career?" "Life is short," Hassan replied. "Your mentor's passing showed that. Truth matters more than opinions. Islam embraces science. Think of Ibn Sina, Al-Khwarizmi, modern scientists like Zewail." That night, Jearld decided. On December 22, 2023, Jearld took his Shahada at the Cambridge Islamic Center. With Dr. Aisha and Dr. Hassan present, he recited, "I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his servant and messenger." Tears of joy streamed down his face. "You're Yusuf Jearld now," Hassan said. The community's warmth filled a void Jearld hadn't known existed. As Yusuf, Jearld's research gained deeper purpose. Each discovery reflected the creator's grandeur. Colleagues had mixed reactions, but Sarah admitted, "Your faith adds depth to your work." His 2024 paper, Stem Cell Therapy, A Divine Design Perspective, argued that cellular precision suggests intelligent design. Published in Nature Medicine, it garnered 500+ citations. With Aisha, he founded the Science and Faith Institute, hosting seminars on Islamic perspectives in modern science. Tommy, now healthy, became a symbol of his work's impact.
Yusuf's story went viral. Harvard professor embraces Islam. His institute grew, with branches in 50 countries. In 2025, he spoke at the Vatican's Science and Religion Dialogue, earning a standing ovation for bridging faith and science. El-Azhar University offered him an honorary professorship. During his 2025 Hajj pilgrimage, tawaf around the Kaaba felt like cellular harmony, diverse people united in purpose.
At 45, Professor Yusuf Jearld continues his Harvard research, mentors students, and delivers Friday sermons. His autobiography, A Scientist's Journey to Faith, inspires millions. Science reveals the Creator's signs, he tells his congregation. Every cell, every atom is a verse in his book. In his lab, he prays, Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah who granted me this knowledge. His latest work in 3D bioprinting promises to save thousands of heart patients, a testament to his mission, uniting science and faith to heal humanity.